Yes, sir.
All right, let's do this again. Let's run it back. I hate everything about that.
It's all right, man. It happens.
Technology, dude. It's like the things I want to learn about are so fun to learn about, but when it comes to things like that, it's just so boring and tedious. But it's probably something worth getting figured out. But the thing is like when you have good shit that works really well, you spend less time with it, and then you don't practice it enough. You know what I mean?
There's some of that.
I don't know.
I mean, there's also like there's a line, right? Because I feel like if you don't have very good equipment, like it just might suck, and so it's more likely that things go wrong. But like you could have the best equipment in the world and stuff still just happens. I don't know. So
yeah.
I'm just thankful we have access to all this stuff, because 14-year-old me in a bedroom didn't have none of this. So it's I
It is
guess I
kind of
should stop
crazy, yeah.
complaining.
Well, welcome to Skylight Huddle, session 31. If you saw the first 30 seconds of our stream, you might have realized that it went down. I don't know if that's on me entirely or if it's Comcast or a combination of the two, but point is we're going to record this and upload it later. All right, so yeah, today we're looking through a bunch of songs I have. I've just collected a bunch of ideas over the last, probably 6 years, 7 years.
Sounds about right.
I'm at the point now where I gotta make some choices about what is gonna happen with this music. So there's some good ones out there, and I've just never released anything. It's all in my DAW, sitting at home. I've heard these songs a lot, but no one's really heard them. So you might hear little snippets of things. We're trying to decide if there's any of these that are worth finishing. Yeah, so I'm just going. I got a big list here. I mentioned before, but the stream had went down. I got about 6 hours of music just in this playlist, but we're not gonna be able to get through all that, obviously. I'll just kind of poke around. Let's see what we have. I'm just gonna double check, make sure we're recording. Okay, we're good. All right, so let's see. Where should we start? So you might remember I wrote this. Well, you remember Geographic. We did this one together.
I remember that afternoon, actually.
Yeah. Let's listen to that one a little bit. Yeah, I like this one. You remember putting this together?
Yeah. I remember, like I said, I remember the afternoon specifically.
I feel like this is done.
Oh, this one's finished.
Like I want to just
I wouldn't
get
even
this one out.
Well, set me down or put me up.
You may not have quite the most current of this, but you're close. The version I've got at my house is finished done, mastered ready.
Well, what do we got?
Assuming there's nothing like that you really, really aren't happy about, but I think it sounds great.
I'm happy if you're happy.
In fact, we just passed the only problem the whole song has. You said dusting your broom, and when you said broom went really flat before it came up to the note.
Oh, gotcha.
But that's so minor,
Yeah.
It's the only thing that's wrong in the whole song.
Music joke, but you said I went flat, and that's so minor. That's funny to me. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that groove you got going on that drum. And that way you hit that bass on the syncopation. Well, let me write this down. Maybe this will apply to some greater album. Yeah. I like the little piano coming up here.
We recorded this very shortly after I got like my keyboard. Because remember, I had rearranged the studio to like make room for it, and we had moved most of the equipment into like almost the middle of the room,
Right.
like off the wall to make room for all the guitars still and all that stuff.
You had a little tiny room then.
Oh man, this is weirdly nostalgic, like
Yeah.
weirdly not about the music, but in the just the place
place
I
it
was in
was,
at the
yeah.
time. This is just strong.
I remember it was raining that day.
Oh yeah.
And I also remember, oddly, is the same day that I think Mac Miller passed. I think so, because I brought this to John, our other friend John, and he was like feeling it because of that. I guess somehow it spoke to him. He said,
Every time I hear this song, it touches me a certain kind of way.
"That's cool." Yeah, I think that's a good song. That could definitely be do something with that. I don't know. Let's see if it works in any other place. I have a couple coming up real quick here.
That's also a song that like is on my short list of songs. So, if you don't mind me derailing a little bit,
No, go for
and
it.
mentioning Vibe Unit again, I realized something. So if any of you watched the stream from last weekend, we had a new face with us, Jeff, who played bass, and Jeff expressed to Zach fairly early in the day that because Zach was having a conversation with him about like basically what he was looking for, kind of thing. And he kind of told Zach, well, I'm just like trying to play some songs with people. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Like anybody who plays, and we got into a little bit of discussion about this, like how I guess I was talking about a little bit of how it's impressive to me that when people have a big array of cover tunes they know and they have all these words memorized and all this stuff. And it's like, I've done a lot of, in my life personally, a lot of stuff where I just kind of gave up on something and go, yeah, I guess I can't do that. And it's like, okay, no, I can't memorize 1,000 songs to cover, but like there's no reason I couldn't know a handful of songs that I know well, that work for me. You get what I'm saying? And even if they're not songs that are other people's in the sense of like, covering some famous song, which I think it would be good to have a couple of those to be able to pull out of your belt too.
Yeah.
So that I kind of recognize as a weakness. I don't know a lot of standard songs. So that in the interest of being able to jam with others, a lot of times people are going to come to the table and know pieces of other things. I'm kind of the idiot if I don't know any of that.
Yeah.
Like there's no excuse for not knowing like the most popular and famous music of all time. And so I guess what I'm getting at is in the same token with these songs, it's like I'd play out any of these songs because I love them, but there's certain ones that stick out to me as passing the singer-songwriter test that we've talked about so many times, Like if you bust it down to like a dude and a guitar, does it still work or whatever,
Yeah.
And this is one of those songs that like I wish we knew well, because this is a time, anytime I was somewhere with you, it's like if someone started playing it, it's an easy song to play. It feels good. It means something. Like it wouldn't be a hard one to memorize. The lyrics aren't difficult. The song structure isn't difficult. So it's always been on my short list of like songs I wish we could just pull out anytime.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add that to
and
that
some of
list.
the other
That's
ones, and some of
great.
the other ones like that I wish were on that list. I realize are, in order to do them the way I know that both of us feel they're supposed to be done, they're only going to happen if you have like a group that wants to practice those songs to play out. They're not pull out of your butt songs, because they have too many little things, or too many complexities, things you really want conveyed. Whereas this is like something you can do with just keys and a guitar and a good rhythm section and someone singing the words. It doesn't matter what it sounds like.
Wow.
Really.
Yeah, you're right.
So I want to like kind of pay attention to what those songs are and think about some of those in the sense of, hey, if we were going to try to like have some, like we talked about, and Zach made a good point about this before, and you've mentioned it. It's like, what if we just had a song that we make sure everybody knows?
Yeah.
Even if it's just one song. It just, that's now a sound check song. That's a song to like get other people familiar with something on.
Yeah, and people can warm up with it.
Yeah,
and-
like I don't know. It might be worthwhile picking something like that. And I'm not saying this is that song. I'm just saying something with this
we need
sort
to
of
find that song,
simplistic-
whatever it is.
the kind of thing that would leave a lot of room for improvisation.
Exactly.
And that song definitely has it.
I agree. Okay, well that's good to know. I never thought of that. So
I don't know. Maybe not what you had in mind with this whole thing, but I just think that
I think that
it'd be
applies.
fun to play some of these songs.
Yeah.
In addition to just like recording some of them and getting them done. And the ones that are going to be easiest to do that with are going to be the ones that we don't have some crazy attachment to.
Yeah.
About like I said, little parts and details that like, hey, if I don't hear that, I'm going to be kind of disappointed, you know?
Right.
Those aren't the ones to like. I'm not trying to set expectations like that on anybody else.
Well, you hit the nail on the head there. I think that is well within the bounds of what we're trying to do today. That's cool.
So I guess that's like a second or third category of potential songs, right? There's like the ones it'd be nice to record and like finish whatever it is that it needs.
Yeah.
And then there's the ones that are like worthwhile to like work out with a group. I don't know that we have that group yet, to be honest with you, but maybe when that day comes, that would be the list. Because it's like these are the ones that have those complexities where, hey, if everybody's really interested and willing to work it out, like they're really good songs, but it would take that group to do it. And then the third class, which is these are accessible songs that, like I said, I'm not going to be worried about how perfect they are or anything. I just need you to understand like the flow of it. And there's, like I said, room for improv or whatever else. Which would be, I think, the most like accessible stuff for just like playing with friends and whatnot, you know?
That's really cool.
Because here's our alternative. Our alternative is, you know, we learn AC/DC. And I don't have a problem with that. Like I said, I would like to know more of those songs. I'm just saying we could apply the same thing we're trying to exercise for our brains.
Yeah.
As far as like learning songs and memorizing them.
That's a really good point, though.
No reason we can't start that pursuit but on our own stuff. Because it feels better to me to spend my time memorizing something that means something to me than memorizing something that means something to somebody else. And that's usually what, like, when you're playing covers, that's what you're doing. You're entertaining. Someone else wants to hear the song. But in this case, I don't want to like play. Like, it might be entertaining, but I'm most entertained by the songs that mean something to me, and I'm probably gonna like sing and play them better too.
Yeah,
because they're like personal, not just I heard this on the radio once and everyone likes it, so I guess I'll play it, kind of thing.
Okay, I got a feel for what you're saying there.
Cool.
So I don't remember what this one was.
What's this one called? We should you should be, I think, calling out maybe the titles, because then if we're watching back, we can match them up if we forget to
even
write
if the titles
down.
are lame. This one's called Remembering the Theist. I don't know. I think it's nothing. I think it's honestly just this little synth lick. Maybe we use it for something. Who knows? Maybe for like a...
I always had a dream in mind of like, if I ever had like a live show doing the kind of music I really want to do, which is like synth pop, power pop kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love that kind of thing, because it's like I wouldn't want there to ever be dead air.
Yeah, you'd have that as like a interlude.
Yeah, like between songs or whatever. Like it may, I guess you could say it's a song in the sense that it's written, like recorded, and it gets played regularly or whatever, but like it's not a song, like it doesn't have a structure, and it doesn't have words or whatever, but yeah, I don't know, just because it makes the whole experience cinematic.
Yeah. That's
like when they do they'll do like skits in a rap record. That used to be the thing, like really heavy. Do you remember that?
I don't remember skits.
Really?
Who did skits?
Everybody.
Are you talking about like even
like a little, like the like here's one, for example, Eminem on all his records.
Yeah, okay.
He would do, like, he had a specific one that he would go back to, which was basically his manager Paul Rosenberg calling him and bitching about something about
Yeah,
the record, right?
You
like,
can't put that on the record.
Yeah, talking about
Yeah, I
like
remember
how
that.
like whatever song can't be put on for whatever reason, or he'll tell him he's just an idiot for some other reason,
Yeah.
like just talking trash. But that kind of thing where it's like, I don't know if this is the point or not, but I always took that as being like, it's like the artist's opportunity to like almost soapbox for a second, because they get to paint themselves in any way they want. And in that case, I think for Eminem, it's like, I'm trying to let you know, like, Paul's breathing down my neck, so fuck you. Like, this is what I have to say about it. It's like his excuse for why he's gonna be an a-hole about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we'll see what I'm dealing with. Listen to what Paul called me and told me. You know,
That's awesome.
I like that
The
it's
effect
all
it
it's
has.
doing is like pulling you into that next song. So when I hear him talk trash about, how Rosenberg's an asshole, it's like, oh yeah, he kind of is. I had just heard the phone call. You know what I mean? I just heard the voicemail. So that kind of stuff's cool, because like if you were to go into something that's more upbeat, it's like normally in a song you might think about it like, oh, like it'd be nice if we kind of start down low and get big. It's like, well, if you have an interlude like that, screw it, go in big at the very front, because you already covered the low part with the interlude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can start thinking about it in those ways.
I know the next one's real bass heavy, but
What's this one called?
Pure.
Ooh. Ooh.
I hold my phone to the west. I lost my signal on the beach. We slipped into a swimwear.
This is incredible.
Highway graffiti.
This is like,
Tall tales toward the lake coast. But does a ghost still need to breathe? From off the pier we can vanish and tell the tourists they can leave. I wanna call Merseyside to give you all a resort. I wanna come off feeling spotless. You had to be coming up slow before my phone on the lake tide. Late blood trails peel off like summer skin. You had to be braver than you are. I told the siren we should let go.
any ideas on the time frame or setting for this?
Yeah, this would have been 2 years ago.
Tucked in my pocket, I tied my shorts, took a breath, and I choked it.
Yeah, it's a good song. I wanted to kind of put this in with like the whole hanging on crowd. I remember thinking that because I was like, this would round out that album really nicely.
It really would.
And then All Night, obviously, that goes on that record as well. We haven't listened to it, but
I'm really curious which version you have of it.
I have a weird version of it, I think. Here's All Night. It says 5/3/19.
Yes, this is an early All Night.
Yeah. I do like the piano in this. And I was thinking, I had a melody line
Damn,
for this,
this
but,
needs to get pulled back.
but so one thing I wanted to pulled back in terms of tempo,
No, I mean like
chill,
so weirdly,
yeah, go
maybe I'm wrong about this, but now having heard Pier and then hearing this, I'm realizing you're right. Those do kind of all go together with hanging on and all that thing.
yeah,
But I went this one of all things, I took too far. It was at the time that we were starting to work on another project, and I think I needed it to be like a more up kind of song.
Yeah.
And I took it there, and I do like that version, but now I'm almost wondering if like maybe I should revisit that session and try to like keep it at that spot in terms of like elements, like fix it, get it to sound like Pier in terms of like sonics, but like not go into like crazy guitars or like any of that shit. Not because it's wrong, but just like we pushed it into like more of a
punky
like a
sound?
rock kind of thing, like a really
right.
rock oriented thing, and I'm not feeling it that way now. Now that I hear this version, I'm like, you're right. Like the piano feel and everything, it's pulled back, and it just feels like a more upbeat version of what Pier sounds like in a sense, as opposed to being a totally different genre. Whereas the version of All Night that I've got, it isn't even in this neighborhood. It's not even.
Oh, really?
No.
I want to hear that version too, because I actually like.
It's not this.
I like hearing different flavors.
It wouldn't work on this record the way I did it.
Well, when I was thinking of lyrics for this,
and I'm not mad about that either. Like I enjoy just taking the elements and trying to build something with them. You know. That accent. Dun, 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 dun.
I was thinking
that needs to stay.
So I was like thinking like
that would help a lot.
You know, like coming in or like as a pickup into it rather than
I'm into that.
Yeah, I had never finished the words for the verses in this, but I did have the chorus done.
I think one of the struggles you were having at this time especially is you were writing really good lyrics and you were spending a lot of time on synth design at the same time.
Right.
So what happened a lot of times is you would and obviously you know you do this, but I'm just kind of doing it for everybody else. So something Mike did a lot early on, which I always loved, with ideas, is even before having recorded like a vocal or anything, if you had some idea what you maybe thought some of the notes should be, or if you're real set on something, you'd usually lay down like it's in a lot of our sessions labeled like vocal synth or something. It's like, it's just something to play the notes. So you have some idea of like what the interaction is. But what would happen with that is I think a lot of times you would write melody lines that sounded good, and then once you started playing them, you would play then what you really, really liked, but then it would be something that isn't easy to sing.
Right.
Simple to, I mean, I can jump an octave easy on a synthesizer, but an octave jump is not.
It's not easy vocally,
it's not easy
right?
for someone who's not singing every day. So then you'd go in to sing some of these parts, and I think have real trouble like getting around with all the jumps that you'd have in your melodies.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have enough, like, not enough chromaticism, not enough runs. It was a lot of jumps. And that's tough for anybody, man. That's where I struggle too. So I think that if you were to revisit some of these with some of those sensibilities, like knowing what it takes to sing something that sounds good now. Like even listening to the way you sang things differently a little bit, of some of those songs we played in session 51.
Yeah, I was going to say, I sounded really
you altered
good on
some
that.
key things,
Yeah.
but in my opinion, those are good alterations because they just make it easier for you to sing, and it actually makes the feel of the song come through even more.
It like glues it together in a way.
So it might be better to just pull them back and make them simpler melodies and just make them flow together more instead of like, I guess, trying to be like technically good sounding.
Yeah.
Because there's enough technically good sounding stuff going on with the instrumentals in these songs. You know, that I don't think you don't need to have the vocals be a complex part.
Something I learned because I liked the sound of like the vocal jumping an octave. What I learned to do is actually to get that effect, you can sing the same note but put some note higher above yourself, like on the synthesizer or something to kind of embellish it.
Or make the instrument jump but not the voice.
Right.
It'll still give the clue.
And I also found that I'll practice through my voice live and trying to get the auto-tune not to snap so hard.
Dude, I'm telling you, and it works.
And I think I owe that credit to that for 51 because I felt very on key in a lot of moments, you know?
Yeah.
Like it felt like I was finding the right pitches.
Yep.
I know what it sounds like now when my voice is off pitch because I can hear the chorus effect. So I've like figured out how to snap in better. I didn't think I could get much better. Like I thought I was plateaued on singing, but that voice live thing really helps.
I mean that was literally what gave it to me because like I have a like nearly perfect ability to ascertain pitch, but when you're controlling your own voice,
it's
like
different.
it's almost worse because it's like I can hear that I'm off. like really
Yeah.
bad. So it's like you said, how do you, at some point you feel like, how could I get any better at, like, I guess snapping or whatever. But if you put it up against a perfect reference,
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. Like,
because it doesn't, like,
it helped.
it doesn't work. Somehow I don't even know how it works, but it doesn't work the way you think it does in your head.
It
It's
doesn't,
Like something has
no.
to happen where, like,
Yeah.
you go, oh, I'm way over.
And
I'm overcompensating. Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking too hard about it, and like trying to control things I shouldn't. I need to just, like, believe that I'm hearing it and try to make the adjustment and just stick with it. And usually that works.
When I was learning how to sing originally, I didn't have that voice live, and I would listen back, and I'd be disappointed with the way it sounded. I'm like trying to hit pitches. That's because it was a delay reaction. Like, it was a delay feedback. I was hearing it post, but with the voice live, it's instant feedback. Like, if you're off, you know it because you'll hear that glitchy robotic auto-tune feature, right? So what I started to realize is if I just did that for like a few hours at a time, and just like got my voice, I'd get real tired, but I'd like force myself to get good at hitting it, and then I'd memorize how it felt in my throat.
That's
and,
it. That's
and how
what
it
I'm
felt in my
saying. It's that
chest
loop to the muscle memory
Yeah.
knowledge. It's like learning a
Just
sport
practice,
or something.
yeah.
You can't, like, tell somebody, hey,
Well,
like,
you gave me that hint
if you
to like
do
feel
this
it,
thing, it'll work.
where it is in your chest and in your, where how it like, and then memorize like where that point is. I've gotten better at hearing a pitch and figuring out what pitch it is because of that too, because I know where it feels like in my formant in my chest.
That can get flipped on its head too in a nice way where it works the opposite. So at some point, after I started practicing the way you're talking
Yeah.
about, I would start doing another thing, which is just practice like starting on a pitch. So like, I don't know, like are you able to, like, I think you have probably similar pitch abilities as I do. Like
Maybe
like if you
seem
hear
a
a
little more
note,
accurate to me.
maybe.
What were you
I
gonna say?
don't know. All I'm getting at is, like, for me, since I was very young, I've always been able to hear a pitch and tell you what it is. Like, you
Yeah.
could sing any pitch or play any pitch and I can tell you what note it is.
Right.
But the opposite wouldn't necessarily be true. Like, if you said, well, what's an E? That's an E.
Yeah.
The reason I can do that and come right in with vocal cords right on an E frequency is because I practiced just doing that. Like, practicing, like, in my head, just going, like, sing an F.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't have any crutch, and I didn't have a note before it to help me get to it, and I don't have another one after it just to smash it into and have you not tell I was really off.
Yeah.
There is no cheat. Like,
Yeah.
if you started and it sounded bad, try again next time, bud,
Yeah.
But I started doing that too, and that helped me a lot too, because then that ends up somehow, like, intermixing with that muscle memory. Like, the idea of, like, your brain trusts itself that, hey, I know what that note is. I know what to do to get that note. And then now you're not thinking about, like, what am I singing? Like, you're just doing it, and it's all of it's muscle memory. The transitions are muscle memory. The pitch itself is like a muscle memory. So, I mean, you're like, you sang in that session better than you did for a lot of the recordings we used to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because of practice.
Yeah,
it just paid off.
I really have been trying. Like, I'm glad you've noticed that, because honestly, it's been a lot of work. I'm a perfectionist in a lot of ways. Like, when it comes to learning an instrument, I remember learning guitar. Originally, I would go home after school, and even before guitar, I guess I'd stay after school and stay in the practice rooms, and I'd just play piano for, a couple hours every day after school. I'd come home and I'd watch tutorials and play on a little keyboard that was smaller than this one, trying to learn melodies and stuff. And then when I learned guitar, I did the same thing. I'd like spend 3 or 4 hours a day playing. I had friends who played guitar for like 4 years, and then I was surpassing them because I'd be practicing all the time.
Honestly, your advancement in guitar is the really impressive thing. Because, like, at this point, I literally can't keep up.
Well,
like, it's not even funny anymore. But there was a time when every song that you wrote, was a 3-chord song.
Yeah,
and it
cowboy
was like,
song, cowboy chords.
Yeah, cowboy chords and capos, baby.
Well, it's
and
cool.
my point is, like, what I can say is, however many years later, I'm still in that boat.
Yeah.
You're not stuck there anymore. And that's
No.
really cool.
I like
because it's like
to move.
it's the proof of like if you just stick with it and you really want to increase a skill level at something, like it's on you.
Well-
If you put it in and you want it, you can get it. I just don't think I've ever wanted it that bad.
I'm glad to have met Zach for that, though, because I'm ready for the next plateau. Or I'm like on a plateau now. I'm ready for the next level, and like watching him play has been really helpful. And Evan, whenever I see
was
Evan
say
play,
guys like Zach and Evan are the
Yeah.
ones that I feel like they could still make you feel like, why do I even do this?
Yeah.
Because I know if it makes me feel like this,
yeah,
it's like I don't know if it's still that way for somebody like you at your level.
Yeah.
Where you're, like I said, you've surpassed where I'm at.
well, it makes me excited, really.
Because it like gives you that window into like, oh wow, there is more. Like,
Yeah, there's more potential. That's what it is for
Because I
me.
could be doing that,
Yeah.
and I can't right now.
Well,
so
I really love acquiring the skill set. Like that's really been enjoyable to me. And there's nothing like, learning a new chord shape, and it's really hard the first time you do it, but then like the next thing you know, you're going there without even thinking. I love just that growth. And guitar for me has been a really cool feedback method. I mean, but it's like that. The point I was getting at with all that is it's like that with anything, including my voice. Like I perseverate on getting to the next level. Like with recording, like I'm obsessed with getting really good at that stuff, especially because I'm in love with the music. I'm in love with making it. So, anything I can do to add to that. I'm learning tracking now, and you can ask Ashley like what I did all day on Saturday. Before I did anything else, I played on my tracker for about 8 hours, and I'll do that like daily. And we're working on that hip hop stuff, and I'll like work on your hip hop stuff for like, the reason why it sounds really cool is not because I just sat down and like came up with something. It's because I've spent like a long time, really making it sound the way I want it. And tracking, not to get too much on a tangent here, but I'm going to say tracking is by far, without a doubt, more than guitar, more than synth or anything. That is my favorite. Honestly, it just like it feeds my curiosity in a way that nothing else does. Like if I had to get rid of every instrument, I'd still keep my polyend tracker. Like if I had to choose one, that has become my desert island instrument.
that's okay. Now you got me really thinking, right? Like
Yeah.
like almost like as a weird prompt, even though you didn't maybe intend it as
Yeah,
that.
what's
It's like,
your- what do
I
you-
don't know.
Yeah.
Like you're quick on it. You're like, oh, it's the poly.
Oh, it would be
hands down,
every
like,
single
like
time,
real
yeah.
quick on it. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting here going, I don't know, man. I really don't know because I don't think you can't just say like my MacBook and a copy of Logic. Like that's not a reasonable answer. You're talking about like a thing, like a physical object.
Yeah, like a I guess you'd say it's an instrument.
Man.
Maybe
That's
it's something
impossible.
to mill over a little because I don't know.
I mean, okay.
It's easy for me. I think it's
I've
an
said
easy
for
for me.
years my desert island thing object, and I think I'm gonna stick with it
Tape?
because at the end of the day, yeah, it'd be a tape machine
Yeah.
because I know that it'd be modifications, work, etc. Whatever. We're talking about your life's gonna end when you run out of food, so better have fun with that tape machine.
Like a
right?
sound
You're
on
willing to
sound?
you're willing to try anything.
Yeah.
So. I mean, my point is tape can do it all. It can be delay. It can be compression. It can be almost a kind of reverb if you smear things the right way. Like, so, and I guess in a way you could say that's kind of like a DAW in a box in a way.
Yeah.
So I guess it's
Just like a tracker in that way. Like it's DAW in a box. Yeah.
like the analogness of it is what's attractive to me.
Oh, dude.
Like the inconsistency of it is what I love about it.
Oh God, it's so
But
cool.
what's weird is that tracking, it's the opposite. Like the absolute consistency is what's attractive
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
So that's a very interesting
That is
thing.
cool. I didn't think of it that way, but it
would be very hard for me to like pick something like that, I think.
Well, I'll have to show you maybe after this stream or the video today.
Maybe I should spend more time like playing with those kinds of things because definitely I used to do more of that. Sampling, I think I had it. When I was doing more sampling, it would have been easier to
It goes
say,
hand
I
in
need
hand
this
with
piece of hardware,
Yeah, it goes hand in
because
hand.
you just get good at it. Like
Sampling is like I guess like a wing off of what I enjoy because I like collecting sounds too.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at with my statement is like tracking is when the concepts are somewhat universal, but like the most of the knowledge you're picking up when you're doing it and spending the time, I feel like is pretty like application specific.
Yeah.
So it kind of that's the investment. Like the tool is just as much the investment as the time, because that's the thing that makes it possible. Like I've talked about this before, but like watching somebody like LP cut up on like an old Sonic or something, it's like, are there better tools than that now? Like, yeah, there are, but he's got a workflow that works. And so
Yeah.
I'm sure if you asked him, what's your desert island thing? He'd go, oh, my sampler, like
yeah.
hands down, because he knows that if I have that and any other source material, I can do something creative. And like you said, like the creative, like, drive or whatever, like the curiosity.
Yeah.
The tool is like enough for me to be able to put that into the exploration of the source. So like that's kind of the sampling aspect, right?
Yeah.
Like the tool's like something I rely on because it's the thing that lets me go from this random thing to a totally different piece of work made out of those elements or whatever. You know, like my point is not every tracker is the same. I mean, you could learn to make incredible stuff on a poly-N and then sit in front of some other tracker and still have to spend a bunch of time like figuring out, well, how does this do it? Or how does this work? How does that work? So I like the idea of being able to pick like a weapon and get really good with it, because I've seen the advantages of it. Like I said, it almost seems stupid when you see dudes that are tied to equipment that you'd go like, why haven't you replaced that with something better? And it's like, well, because it does the thing it's supposed to do. Like, what I like is married to what I'm able to do with this. And a lot of guys, I think that's like an NPC, like in the sampling world.
Definitely.
You know, that's the one that everybody knows
that's
about.
hit legendary status in terms of equipment. A lot of people just are obsessed with NPCs.
So I don't think that's wrong at all, you know? And I actually like it because I feel like, I don't know, because like you're talking about many times before, like the artificial constraints it has are like part of what ends up influencing your sound and your style. Why does LP make the kinds of beats he makes that are just simple and bang like that? Well, because the sampler's got limitations. I don't have unlimited tracks and resolution and whatever to play with. Like, so working within that confined box is what makes him produce hits, I think, because like you have to make the small amount of elements work.
Right.
And that kind of thing. So I think it in a weird way, like it makes you like a secret weapon as an artist when you have a little tool like that not everybody has mastered. I mean, they can't. It's just not a thing that's accessible and makes sense to everyone. So when you can be good at it and quick with it and have that like marriage of you with the tool that just like produces results quickly,
right,
dude, there's no substitute for that. I mean, that's the kind of stuff people pay somebody like, can you just come hang out in the studio while we're trying to do this record? You know what I mean?
I take it for granted, the knowledge sometimes, but I'm reminded and humbled when I we were just talking about DaVinci Resolve. So I can get into my tracker and I can make a song. I can make you a song right now in probably 10 minutes or less, and it'll sound really cool. Like, I'm pretty confident in myself in that, and without trying to sound too prideful. But when I got in DaVinci Resolve, I spent 3 hours trying to do the most bullshit, dumb task, right? And so it's like I've worked my way up in some ways to this ability to like infer what someone wants and be able to recreate it musically because I've spent so much time there. But and then I could get in my head and think, well, I could do that with anything, right? Well, then I jumped into that video editing, and I was like, dude, I'm a freaking toddler. I can't even do this. And it was frustrating. I'm like watching tutorials. I'm like, man. And then I remembered there was a time in my life when I was there, like with music, where I couldn't like, and you've seen me grow in that way, but like I started out I couldn't hear if my guitar was out of tune. There was a point in my life where like, I'd bring you a session and everything was out of tune and clashing and causing all these issues. And I thought it sounded good because I hadn't refined my ear yet. And it's like the same thing, you just spend so much time on it and then you get better. But then I get frustrated because with the video, I'm not really that. I used to love video making, right? But I'm not that into it like I used to be because I see it as a time-consuming thing that takes me away from making the thing I really want to make, which is music. So
I'm just straight up, I'll just say it. I'm scared of the learning of it because like I didn't do it for so long because of all the constraints that I had on me, like not having the right hardware or software or licenses, this or that. So you just fall away from that whole pursuit. At the time, I feel like when we were young, like in high school, like the bar was low, but now we're at a point where like high school kids can produce Marvel level GFX.
It's weird.
So my point is like the only excuse there is you anymore, and it's the same as it is with audio or anything else. And I guess it's daunting because like I said, I watch other people's content and I go, they're killing it. Like this is great.
Right.
This is exactly what it's supposed to be. And then I try to recreate that same thing and can't do it.
It's
And
like
what I
you say, like, it
realize it's
seems so
because
easy.
yeah, because I don't know how much time it took him. It might have taken him 1,000 hours. I
That's
don't get to
true.
see that. B, I missed all the in between.
Yeah.
So here I am coming back into it, 10 years later or whatever, going, I don't understand why nothing makes sense. And it's like,
Right.
because you weren't here for any of the in between steps that got to here. Like it didn't just jump from Windows Movie Maker to DaVinci 17.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't around for any of that transition. So of course I'm going to come into it going, I don't have any idea what this is.
Yeah.
And that's super, super like scary, I guess.
Yeah, it is for me too. I definitely feel that.
Because I instantly feel like underwater with it, like the weight of how much hours it must take. Because I know it takes so much to
yeah.
master something. And then you just feel like, oh, that's unattainable. Like there's no way I'm going to be able to do what they do. And then like for me with say like DaVinci, it's like, well, the more things you end up having to cut for this reason or that, and you do different projects, you start feeling better at it. Like the result you're getting is better.
Yeah.
But it's like I still have stuff to point to and go, well, it's not that yet. So I'm still learning.
Well, I guess we'll reel it back. There's
Sure.
the next song here that I have. You may have heard before.
What's it called?
This one's called "Plane Tickets Are Cheap."
I don't know if I know this one. I don't recognize the name.
This one kind of feels like it could fit with "Hanging On All Night" here. It's a little bit brighter, but could be like a.
Holding out for confirmation. I was already packed and leaving. Plane tickets are cheap this weekend.
Off there on the side.
Comfort for grieving. With television static distraction. The tips were gone from rewinding. Fractured bits, memorial reaction. The frames that froze were reminding. You cut from my life. I'm blocked on your phone. If you cut out my tongue, I'm letting them know.
Yeah, it could go with those. Obviously, there's tightening, but like
Yeah.
the structure.
Made in your bed, so go to sleep, to sleep.
Yeah, it was around that time. I mean, this would have been like, I guess you could say my like I made the original songs for that album, like the Hanging On, All Night, that kind of stuff. This one came later. This was like probably 2020 at some point, but I think that was like I want to finish that album, and that was like written intentionally to sound kind of in that area. Like it was also like how far have I gotten?
I've never heard that song before. I like it. It goes with
Yeah,
it goes with that stuff for sure.
I'm gonna write it in there. Yeah, I like that one. It's weird because I don't know what you've heard and what you haven't. I've heard these a lot. A lot of these songs I've heard a lot. So
Yeah, that one's brand new on me.
that's cool. Yeah, it's weird. Like I said, you've heard. It's like it's weird because I know these songs like really well, but I don't know what you know, what I know. So it's really interesting you haven't heard that because I've heard that 1,000 times. Of course, there's "You're a Legend," which this one I always loved. I think you have a really good version of it at your house. We've heard it before. I mean, I know the stream people at home haven't, but
They can hear it when it's done.
yeah. Let's see.
That's a good one too, though. Honestly, I have a version of that I would argue is done except for vocals. And even then, the vocals I've got aren't awful. I just don't have a full set of them. Like we never recorded vocals for all the pieces.
Right.
So it's not even about like could it be usable? It's about we don't even have all the parts recorded, but they're all there and they're all written.
Yeah.
So that one definitely could be.
And I can never come up with lyrics for that one either, though. That's the real problem.
Which one?
You're a Legend.
I thought we had some.
Do I have them recorded? I don't have any idea what they could have been.
Like I said, you have like a. I know you have a first verse.
Oh, okay.
We have a hook that works, but I don't know how happy we are with it.
Yeah.
And then there's not a second verse. So yeah, I don't know. It does need some things in terms of vocals, but the structure's good, and we have, like I said, we have a good recording of it.
So
like good guitars and everything.
This is gonna be kind of a gear shift, but this time I know all these songs here. This is from, I think, the Bring Back the Chops concept album I had, which is about like moving back from the UP. I don't know what quality these are, but it was this one. This is more of like that upbeat punk sound.
No, I felt let down due to circumstances. I had to check my math and calculate my chances.
So this had to be within the last 2 to 3 years because
Yeah, it's a 2019 remake.
I can just tell because this is fairly recent. I can just tell by the vocal recording.
Yeah.
Because if you're singing, both the way you're singing and just your recording technique, like the recording isn't trash.
Yeah.
So.
When the streets get crowded, we can hang out at my house. I prefer my city as a ghost town.
Oh.
Streets where nobody
Remember this one?
Now I do. I thought this was a totally different song.
Oh,
This is like a part of this song.
Yeah.
Dude. All right.
It would. Okay, so that whole album in a day thing we did, I feel like this would fit in that genre. Yeah.
Dude, okay.
Yeah, you remember that now.
I have a version of that, but it starts at da 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 da.
Oh, wow.
Dude, you gotta hear it.
Okay.
I have a totally
Let me write that
different
down
version
so
of
that
it.
way I can ask you about that when I see you at your house.
But yes, I have like a done version of that too. And now that I've heard that you have vocals recorded, I'm wondering could I just steal those vocals and drop it on what I've got?
Absolutely, yeah. And that would be awesome. Okay, so I need to
assuming it's still like the same structure and whatnot.
It is.
That's one to look at.
give John vocals. See, this is what I wanted to do. We're accomplishing what I wanted to do right now. This is important. Otherwise, these are just gonna end up dead on arrival. So there's this one.
City's a ghost town. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've been looking for that one.
Okay.
I didn't know that that's what it was called.
I don't think that's what it was actually called in the file name.
I agree.
I got screwed up somewhere along the line there. I didn't realize that's what it was until I put it in here.
I'll find it though.
Yeah.
I that one I am sure I have.
This one I really like, but
Play it. Is it the one I think of?
I dreamt I was faster than
Yeah.
Usain. I dreamt that I crashed into a freight train. There must be something wrong with me. I dreamt the same thing twice this week. I try not to gripe or to panic, but I'm letting you know that I've had it. Even in my wildest dreams, I'm breaking down 'cause I'm not free. I was backing up to leave the scene.
I'll just check, but
yeah,
Turned out to be such
I'm
a
really pretty sure I've got this one ready too.
that's cool.
That's true.
See, I feel like
Ooh,
this.
but you had good bass in here.
Oh, yeah. So here's the thing.
What is that supposed to go with?
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna mention. I think that goes with Album in a Day in terms of like, I don't know if it goes on the same album, but it definitely goes in the same like umbrella of project where it's like that punk rock sound. I find myself going to this genre like once a year and writing like 5 or 6 songs for it. So like, you know, and this album is kind of a culmination of 2 years of work. So I got some 2019 stuff and some 2020 stuff in here. The next one on that is this one, which this is a weird version of it, but we're just gonna see. It looks like I don't have anything at the beginning of this one. Oh, here it is. Oh yeah, okay. I like the guitar squeal at the beginning of this. just kind of cool.
I didn't mean to make you panic. I'm moving 2 lanes over. Have been late since October. You should learn to show some.
I remade this song like 100 times, so I don't know what version this is.
This is easily the best vocals you've ever put on it.
Everyone's saying this is all my fault. How do they get that in their heads? You said move faster, implying.
Take note of what's happened to your technique since then.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I heard fret squeal out of you.
Yeah.
But at this particular point in time, it was unavoidable.
Yeah.
You're sorry. You said that you're sorry. That it happened. And I'm kicking myself because I believe in you partially while the shit talking culture surrounds me like vultures and done.
I like the guitar here. That chord movement is my favorite. It's so beautiful.
That one? Yeah, there's that 7.
I took the ball coming off the backswing. Vibrations make my arm sting. Gave us both, so what could that
Yeah,
mean?
this
Now
is
you
way
never
more
show
done
me
in
respect.
terms of like lyrics and stuff than the version I got. Mine's like done
Lately I have
musically.
been an addict, having no overcoming. Everyone's saying this
Yeah,
is
so
all my fault.
now we got a memory of that one. This one, obviously. So I did a remake of this. I couldn't find the other sort of song. It's in there somewhere, but I spelled swader. This is like a dumb version of it, but just kind of a reminder. It's like piano. There's no words. I think I was just like testing out something.
This is an early version when you're working out like the chord shape and
Yeah.
structures and stuff. Because I've got a version of this that's all recorded guitars and everything too.
Well, then it leans into this one, which I like the structure of this song. I haven't completed the lyrics yet, but it's all about how like kids half my age are better than me at video games. And I don't know if that synth works with this genre, but I don't mind messing with this one. This one needs some work. But I have this all tabbed out and ready to go for like a band. If they ever want to read tabs, I have it all written out in my book where it's like every piece of it. Like this one I actually spent a lot of time because I wanted to see if Nick and Wes wanted to play this one with us at some point. But I don't care who plays it. It's pretty easy to follow the formula. I have a version where there's words. I don't know where that one is, but there's this one, which is very old version of it, where I still was using like some old guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is early too.
Yeah, very. The next song on here was like a late 2000s style of that genre where things would have went, where it was like the people who made the music the album started with ended up going here at some point and like messing with synths and stuff, but like you'll hear it.
I go where you want me, towing the quicks, and my conscience keeps me coming up empty-handed.
This dude, the fuzz and like what you got going with the filtered vocal, it's giving me a strong like Silver Sun pickups vibe or something.
That's cool.
That's cool. 'Cause this is the place for fuzz.
It never goes away though. I should have left it normal here, but
These moments and hang them up to dry. All of your photos show the moments that I tried. You're a mess, but it is not.
see, I wasn't sure what to do with it. I liked the intro of this song a lot.
Calling out the mess of a dreamer it is.
Yeah, so there's that one. It pretty much stays there. The next song is really short, but you remember how Reliant K, you mentioned the skit, right? Remember how Reliant K used to do like these little interludes?
It's the same thing. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, to all accomplish
well,
the
it turns
same
out
effect.
I have one.
Really? Play
Yeah.
it. I want to hear it. What's it called? Do you have a name?
Yeah, this one's called Terrible Times.
Okay.
But if you're anything like me, you know it's better to leave early than the end of the show. But if you hung around, then you probably believe it's sticking it out, so you're better than me.
I love that.
I love that too. I was telling Ash, I heard it again, and I had been reminded. I went down like, you got to hear this. If you're anything like me, you know it's better to leave early than the end of the show. But if you stuck around, then you probably believe in sticking it out, so you're better than me.
That's funny.
I wouldn't mind if you left right now, is my point. Like, if I played that song, I might say something like, point is, if you want to leave, go ahead and leave now so you can get home to your families.
Yeah. And those of you who stick around, you can feel extra smug about it.
Yeah. You can realize that I would have been out of here by now.
Yeah.
This one I used a word that isn't real. I don't know, you'll hear it.
I'd like to say
This is very auto-tuned.
I saw it
This would be like the end of the album.
up on the wall.
It gets bright and happy. It's like as a farewell.
They say it all when I said nothing. All of my flaws are for sale today. We box it up, labels up, and ship it to Crop Sky.
That's the fake word. I just had to come up with the word.
With my friend St. John, we box it up, labels up, and give it to Comstock.
I love this because you're doing all the things that I love in terms of like.
Say, I'm still a dreamer. I haven't left.
Yeah.
The house for days.
This would be a great way to end the album.
I moved upstairs. I needed sunshine. The wind can make the trees bend and sway.
Is this album in a day?
No, this was just a one hit on a single day.
Because this sounds like it goes on that.
Okay. It can be, yeah. I'm gonna come up with a better word. It's a weird word. Maybe I'll just stick with it. Who cares? Bands make up fake words all the time. Oh, this is cool. It goes minor here.
Let's put it this way: even if you don't want to do this as part of another project, I would love permission to finish this one up.
Okay. Yeah,
You can sing it, or I can sing it, or whatever. But I want to like push it into that. Let's just call it overproduced vocal territory.
Yeah.
Because I like that. That's my favorite thing.
Goes the piano.
Well, that and my favorite thing, which is leave the main vocal like that timbre, and then lay like just an octave clone above it that's hard tuned, and then pull it back in the mix so far where it's like you know it's there, but like you'd notice if it was muted, but it's not loud enough for you to like hear.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Thickens it up a little bit.
I love that sound. The octave vocal is my favorite thing in the world. It like bar none.
Yeah.
So when I hear that, I just immediately go, "Yup, that's my favorite." Like
I was really into
thing.
that song.
Also, keep in mind that's kind of sound, like any of that like up tempo like pop punk stuff, like that's what the commercial records are doing.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
in terms of like parts,
Right.
like what notes you chose and all that. Like that's glorious.
That's cool.
Like that same stuff would work for anything else on that record. That approach.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
not-
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So there's this like bonus 30-second song that is just cool. This is like Weezer. Doesn't fit on that album. I didn't know where this was gonna go. It's like an interlude though. That's pretty much it. So next
Got a
up,
very like Weezer / like Queens of the Stone Age kind of thing going on
Yeah.
with the guitars. I kind of like that.
yeah, definitely. The next song, Cold Leaves, this is an early version of Cold Days, I think. Or no, Hanging On. This might be an early version of Hanging On. Yeah, it is. Listen to this. Dude, it's weird. I honestly was thrown off by
I
it.
know this version.
Dude, this is like maybe Reason Days. I just want to show this to you real quick. It's nothing for consideration because we've moved far past this.
No, this isn't Reason Days. This is Logic.
Oh, okay.
This version, you made this, I swear, right after I showed you how the gated snare technique works. Because you told me you were going for this 80s thing and you weren't there. Like you couldn't. You're like, why does it not, like the synths are right, everything should be right. I was like, you need a fat snare with too much reverb on it. And this is like your first, you can tell because the gate's not really acting right.
Yeah, it's not.
But you had the whole like character of the snare in a big boomy room.
Yeah.
Is definitely, quote, the sound.
So that's enough of that for now. I just thought that was interesting.
That's so cool to hear though, man.
Yeah,
that
to
was
see how far,
early,
yeah,
like
how far it's
early,
come.
early.
So the next several tracks, I'll just kind of touch on them briefly, and we won't obviously be able to get through a lot of this stuff. I might pick out a couple more, but these could go on a desert rock album, which I feel like there's no one in our immediate vicinity that would be like there's no one we've played with yet where I'm like, oh, that person would really love this music.
Am I correct in assuming like all the desert rocky kind of feel stuff that I've seen you do has all been lyricless?
Yes, it's all
Personally,
lyricless so far.
I think that would be a really cool thing to lean into, to make a collection of tracks that are in that feel to use for cinematic purposes, because that feel is used a lot for that.
I have one in particular that would be perfect for that. This Eagles.
So I'm saying doing like thinking about putting together like just a collection of instrumentals that are in that vein.
Okay.
Might be worth it. Less as like an artistic, check out, this album from Michael Shane, and more about more of like a portfolio piece, or like a soundscapes kind of approach.
Well, in that case, I'm going to skip the first two here, and I'm going to go right into this one. Listen to how good this would sound. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All super fuzzed out. That's reverb, drive, reverb. Like reverb, fuzz, distortion, reverb, I should say. I was like really into that. Just drony, it feels so soft and cushioned out. Like you're like falling into a bed of static. It's weird. If I move it forward a little bit. Right here, it's gonna drop out here.
And logo fade in. And that's where the little sparkly appears on the logo, right when that hit happens. And every time that one of those hits happens, that's when you roll the text through to the next thing. Like, I'm telling you, all this, like, I know how this stuff gets used, and it just, like, as soon as I hear it, I go, I know what I'd cut over that. Like, exactly.
That's cool.
And that tells me that, like, being a nobody and a shit video editor, if I hear it and go, oh, I know exactly how I'd cut around that, I know somebody else would hear it and go, oh, yeah, I know exactly what to do. So that, I don't know, that's why I'm encouraging you in that way.
That's cool.
That sounds so good, dude. That drone sounds something else.
I was into it. Here, I'm writing that down.
Sounds like a car commercial to me.
This one's called Chimpy, He's My Hero. It's a Desert Rock song.
You hear that square wave thing going on?
I was thinking of what it'd be like if someone's getting into a fight. Just like thrashing, you know, like.
This is what you show for like a bumper for like NASCAR or something. I'm just hearing sportscasters' voices and crowd noise
Coming around
and shit.
the corner, we have.
And just epic shots.
And he takes him on the left.
This Sunday on Fox.
The all-new Silverado.
Because you want a truck that makes you
Because
look
nothing-
manly.
Because nothing says my dick's big like a big truck.
Watch out, ladies.
Look out, ladies.
This man means business. Could be a
This
Viagra
man
commercial.
is all hat and no cattle.
But yeah, this is this is. Oh, that's good though.
There's another one here. This has a Nirvana feel. I think it pauses.
I like that right there.
I forgot I put lyrics in this one. I think I was mumbling. I was trying to find. I was doing a Nick Dietrich technique. Yeah.
I love when he does that.
Me too.
Like vocalizations that aren't words.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah, this one was kind of cool. It's like this is one of those video game sounding ones. Isn't that cool?
Logistics company. I'm not fucking with you. I'm serious. Like this sounds like moving boxes around. I'm sorry. It just does.
We're about to move out of that genre here because I got this one. And I call this one Cliche Buffet because it's the most cliche smorgasbord of like the end of a movie.
This is for an app that will deliver groceries.
Hell yeah.
Or videos of people doing active things like working out or biking or that kind of shit. This would be great for a promo for like a YMCA or something.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Because you can sing. Yeah.
It also kind of has early 2000s worship music vibes. Like worship soundtrack 2002.
Yeah, honestly, this does. This sounds like
We're gonna get.
the early aughts Planet Shakers. That's what this is right here.
All right, everybody, get up. We're gonna praise. Come on.
Trading my sorrows.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that.
Yeah, it is. Oh, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna pick out a few more and we'll call it here.
I do like that
That
roundness of that
Yeah, it's
synth,
so
bro.
pretty.
That's the man.
Man, got so many songs.
That's that tropical house sound right there. That was popular like 3-4 years ago. Like you couldn't hear a song without that in it.
Oh, here's like a honorable mention for Hold on. Did I render that wrong? Weird. That sounds weird to me. Yeah, it's not a good version. I'm not gonna go in that one. Let's see. Starboy stuff, if we ever want to do that. Let's see, what's this? Oh, yeah. I was getting into, like, mixing guitars with chiptune sounds.
I like that. This sounds like
You can hear my guitars actually sounds good here, so it must have been recent. 2020. Oh, yeah. I love this song so much. And then you put the guitar in here. This is like a style of music I want to do with Wes. I was a little bit of Motion Say soundtrack. You can hear how the guitars and bass are actually together. Is there a bass? Yeah, a little bit.
yeah, there is. It's low in the mix, but it's there.
Okay, so check this out. I actually ripped off Super Mario Bros. Here in a second for this whole interlude. It's hard to follow it. And then right here, build. I was just seeing what I could get away with, you know? So that okay, so I haven't done much in that style, but I wrote that before I even had tracking.
See, I'd like to see you do more of the tracking thing and try, like, it's a good thing to do with I feel like it's a good thing to do if it's just like the three of us, like if it's you and me and Zach.
Yeah.
Because Zach's down to just improv. Like, we're all down to do that, and it's neat when you can, like, kind of let something run in the tracker and then you play something else over it, and then, like,
So
add,
build
like,
up a template, basically.
Yeah, like build up the pieces of it that don't have, the drum or the guitar elements, and then just see what we can drop on them.
Yeah.
See what they sound like. We had done that, oh boy, like 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. Mike had brought over, it was after the stream had ended, but he had the poly in with him, and it was hooked up, and we had played a couple of songs, or, little arrangements that he'd wrote, but had played other instruments over him. That was kind of fun. It definitely serves well for practice, for things like drums, because the tracker's always on time, so lets you know that you're doing it wrong. Let's see here. What else we got? So that one was called Chipwave Punk. I like that.
What else you got? Okay, so to end it, okay, without playing them, we got Clockwork, and that one, I don't know where that's at with on your system. Do you know?
Depends how in your face we want it to be. If we like the Clockwork, because originally we had said way back in the day that we liked it, but it was maybe not what served the record we were going to put the song
Right.
with.
It's so weird. It's a hard one to fit.
That's still maybe potentially at issue, because again, the version I have is very up and comes in with guitars playing and everything else. It comes in as the song never gets low. It's like a huge opener almost, kind of a song. Because that's to me what it felt like when I heard it. So I don't know whether it's what you want or not, but I do have a version that from a instrumental standpoint is completely finished.
Okay.
Assuming, we like it.
The song Apogee, do you remember that one?
You're at the apogee. Yep.
This is a you and me thing. Like, we built this up at the same time. This would go somewhere like around that era. I don't know if this one fits really yet, or does it fit with Pier and Hanging On and all those?
These songs are really meaningful to me because they sound like what I felt like at the time.
Me too.
And they still do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of the music that I made over the years, listening back to it, and maybe you have this problem too, some of it you almost feel detached from, and it starts off for me with this idea of like, oh shit, I wasn't genuine when I wrote that. But then other times it's like I can just look at it and go, I just changed since then.
Yeah.
And I just don't like feel what I felt when I like recorded that or wrote it. And this time period of music really started to feel the opposite. Like,
Yeah.
It started to feel like, even now when I listen to it, it's not stuff that I almost feel like I need to distance myself from because of the things that have changed in my life. Like, these things feel like things I want to hold on to more because they're, you know what I mean? Because they were genuine, and I don't know. Like, they weren't made to please anybody else or anything like that. They were just what we really were feeling and felt was right to put in at the time.
Yeah.
And it still sounds that way to me.
Yeah, so this one, I loved this song when you wrote it. I remember writing this one. This is another one that kind of reminds me of, like when we wrote Geographic. It was that same workflow.
Yeah, and,
Different
and it
day,
sounds
but-
like that too. But yeah, this is a great song. I'm with you though. I always felt like this belonged with Geographic.
Yeah. Let's see. So this is a good one. I don't... This is like another honorable mention of like ones I just wanted to show you today. This one has that auto-tune sound to it. These three I know go together.
I'm still getting older, got a few chips on my shoulder. I broke both my wrists with bleeding lines to make it count for all these crimes.
I have a newer one of this too.
Oh, really?
But
a lot newer.
My birthday's in October. I gathered up all my guilt and shame with kerosene. I set ablaze. It's not over yet. Till you bleed and sweat.
That being said, the layers that you got here are like absolutely the right sensibility.
Yeah.
Until you bleed and sweat. And when I'm mentally well, I wanna use that.
So that one and this one, they go on the same record. I love this song. This song has a lot of meaning to me.
Someone call the cops 'cause I'm coming clean. I'm holding on to guilt like you always wanted me. But I seldom leave town with the siren sound. And tonight I'll fall.
That's funny. Did you hear that dog noise? That was in the right. I thought that was really walking in. Did you too? Dude, that was weird. That tripped me out.
I was convinced.
Dude, that tripped me out. I do it every time though. Like even the
That's so funny, man. That's like, dude, that's like when you're like on the highway. Like I remember this, like I'd be a pretty young kid, right? It's like before we had legal pot in the state of Michigan, and like you're riding down the road, and like you're not doing anything illegal, like so there's no reason in the world anybody would care about you or what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you're listening to that record, dude, and it's like, some hard gangster song, and like there's a siren or something in it, and you hear it, and your heart just sinks. You're like, oh, I'm going to jail. That's it.
Yeah.
And like there's not a cop on the road. You're just like convinced, like. And even after you look around and all that, you're like, I still think I heard one. Like, I mean, I know that's BS, but come on.
So that's about all I have. But, yeah. So I took some notes of some things. I'll look at that later and kind of look through the sessions again and get everything kind of in a list. But
What's the one up there called Come Undone?
oh, this is a good song. A little metronome in the background.
Checking out for a while, want no one else to know. I've been sleeping in the
Never heard this
treehouse
either.
that you love me.
It's a good recording, actually.
Anesthetic I took on myself while everybody called. There's a sweating I like to switch on called airplane mode.
go on anything.
No.
Honestly, this sounds like it goes with Geographic in those songs.
Okay.
I was staying up till dawn.
It's that same style, just a little more upbeat.
When the snow-covered red lights, I didn't know you'd fly. When you told me you were waiting, I was singing on the day, and I'm a caller in the morning, but day.
See, I don't know if I was even singing anything exactly, but
Change the time.
I even like the notes you picked on everything, dude. This is great. I'll stand by my statement. This goes with Geographic and Apogee.
okay.
This is so good. It sounds like it could be a Nick song, like
Yeah.
structure-wise.
I think I just throw that to the end because it was so cool.
This is so good.
It's so pretty. I like that real square wave synth in there too. It's so cool. How's this sound? Oh yeah, I just kept ripping and building. And I liked how nothing was on time in this section. I just because it's supposed to come undone, right? Everything's like falling apart at the end here. You like that one?
I love that one. I love everything about that one. That's so good. I've never heard that. That 100% goes with those other two,
Okay.
man.
All right.
That's like the thing it needs. It needs that record's gonna need a little contrast.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't have everything.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
It has the same tension and release as the other two, and that's the thing I'm matching in my head.
it's a little different than anything I've ever written, I remember.
I love this. Even this weirdly has the same types of tensions in it as the last one as well. Like this is a little up tempo, a little,
Yeah.
but like it's right in the neighborhood though. And that's my whole thing is if for that record you're gonna need to mix it up a little, you know. You're not gonna want
I
to all
agree,
be
I
slow
agree.
songs. But yeah, I think this goes with Geographic and Apogee and whatever what did we say it was called? Come Undone,
Yeah.
dude. Like that. Oh, it's so pretty.
Oh yeah, this is for like texture. It's for like like the end or the beginning of an album. I don't know what, or maybe both. Start and end it that way.
This is what you play at the very beginning of the show while everyone's walking out to their instruments. It's so good. It's so woolly.
Yeah, I started getting more experimental with things. Like, you can tell, like, the shift happened somewhere in this, where it's like a light bulb went on. It's like, oh, I can make music the way I want. And
Any way I want,
so this is what I did today, just really quick before you got here. I used the mini log. I used just the bass with the Sans amp, guitar through my normal chain. I find myself lately in this genre a lot, like when I'm doing this, like not tracking, when I'm doing like like recording. This is my sound lately, where it's just like chorusy guitars, a little bit of vibrato on the synth, just nothing is, and the bass has a little bit of distortion to it. I didn't do any EQ on this at all, but
Am I crazy for thinking this is also, like, are you just picking shit that you think kind of goes together? 'Cause,
yeah,
like,
I was kind of doing that now.
okay, because now we're getting weird, because I start to sound like a broken record, but that also sounds like it goes with the last ones we listened to.
And by the way, I love writing that.
That's
like,
my favorite sound. That's
it's
that
beautiful
era,
music.
and like that's my favorite writing of yours. All
Yeah.
of it. It's my favorite.
So, all right. Well, I think that's good for today. That's pretty much everything I want to show you. I mean, there's like I said, that's half of it, but I think that gives us a lot to chew on. We can go and look at more stuff later if we need more. But yeah, I liked having it all in this VLC, just anything I had rendered, and I rendered a few this morning as well. But I just wanted to put it on a list because then you can just click through and read the names, and I thought that was a good way to do it. So.
Yeah, it's easier than like digging into like folder structures to like just see what might be lying around.
Yeah, it's just nice. It puts on a platter. So, Skylight Huddle session 31, episode 31, episode 31, session 30. I don't know what to call them. I don't care. It doesn't matter. The point is, this is mostly for myself. This is mostly to remind myself what I did today in like 20 years. And maybe my kids will someday be like, oh, Dad, what were you doing? What were you doing with music in 2022?
Thinking about you and
Yeah.
showing you this.
Yeah.
I planned way ahead for this very moment. You don't understand. Your dad's... I know. I knew you were going to ask. I knew this moment would come, and I've been preparing for this for 40 years. That's what you tell him.
Yeah, Ash and I have already done this, just as an aside. We went to Arizona, and we just had this joke. We bought a sweatshirt, and we did like a little video. And in the video, we say, all right, kids, we bought this sweatshirt for you today. Like, like the sweatshirt I wear, my Arizona one. It's like, look in the box next to the television and get your sweatshirt. Like, it's been in there forever, but like,
yeah, as if you had been just laying this out for. Though to be honest, now that you've said this, you technically were and have.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess
There's little things I want to do, and kids, if you're watching me in the future, just so you know your dad likes to fuck with you a little bit, and
you
gotta get in their head.
Gotta know, dude. They just gotta know.
I don't even have kids yet, but I mean, if I do in the future, future me watching this, yeah, Yeah, I know what you're up to.
Yeah, I know you.
And you know what I'm up to. Consequently. So, all right. Well, thanks. That was session 31. Thanks for tuning in. John, thanks for coming over again and
anytime.
hanging out and doing this. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it.
Bye.